welcome. I'm Suma Katauka and you are watching Primetime on Asia on NewsX World. Let's take a look at some of the headlines. Japan's ASEAN Party has joined forces with the ruling LDP, supporting Sanai Takaichi as this next prime minister, while ASEAN shares Takaichi's hardline stance on security and immigration stances. It maintains differences on fiscal policy, parliamentary reform, and women's surname rights, handing her 12 policy goals, including tax pauses, free high school, among others. A Boeing 747 cargo plane has skidded off the runway in Hong Kong, colliding with a security vehicle and pushing it into the sea, killing 2 airport staff early today. All 4 crew members have escaped safely, making this the deadliest airport incident in Hong Kong since 1999. China has removed top trade negotiator Li Chengyang from his post as permanent representative to the World Trade Organization. The move comes amid escalating U.S.-China trade tensions over sanctions and China's export curbs on rare earths ahead of the Xi-Trump summit. Belarus Security Chief Ivan Tertel has said that his agency is seeking direct contacts with Ukraine to help reach a settlement in the war with Russia. Tertel, who heads the country's KGB, said that President Alexander Lukashenko is working to stabilize the region. Britain's Prince Andrew had asked Metropolitan Police in 2011 to dig up personal information on Virginia Giuffre, his teenage sexual abuse accuser, according to media reports. Andrew, the younger brother of King Charles, has stepped back from royal duties in 2019 and was stripped off of military links and patronages in 2022 as the scandal continues. Britain is drafting new legal powers to allow troops to shoot down unidentified drones. Defense Minister John Healey to announce the move follows recent incidents, including 19 drones crossings in the Polish border and jets violating Estonia's airspace, amid growing concerns over unidentified drone activities across Europe, which Moscow denies. Thieves execute a 4-minute heist at Paris Louvre Museum, stealing 8 priceless jewels from the French crown collection. President Macron condemns the theft, pledging to recover the stolen works. Centrist Rodrigo Paz wins Bolivia's presidential runoff with 54.5% of the vote, defeating conservative Jorge Tuto Quiroga. Paz's victory marks a historic shift away from nearly 2 decades of leftist rule, taking office on November 8. Now at this hour, we start with Japan. A coalition deal between Japan's Liberal Democratic Party and the right-wing opposition, Japan Innovation Party, known as ASEAN, have put Sanai Takaichi on the brink of becoming Japan's first female prime minister. With both parties combining for 231 seats in the lower house of parliament, Takaichi is expected to win Tuesday's vote. The coalition paves the way for Takaichi to form a new government pending final approval. In exchange for support, ASEAN has secured pledges from Takaichi to advance a small government agenda, including cuts to lawmakers and suspending the consumption tax on food. This deal follows the collapse of the LDP's 26-year coalition with Komeito, after Takaichi was named the party's leader. Let's listen in to what Sanai Takaichi has said.
今回、吉村代表、また藤田代表をはじめ、日本維新の会の皆様方の、大変なご尽力もいただき、また自民党の役員の皆様をはじめ、多くの同僚議員のご協力もいただき、政策の協定に署名をすることができた、合意することができた、大変大きな一歩だと思っております。これから日本も前に進めるために精一杯働いてまいりますので。
Now for this discussion, we welcome Dr. Satoru Nagao. He's a fellow at Hudson Institute, joins us live from Tokyo. Thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us again. Good to see you. Now, looking back at this news, how might the coalition between LDP and Japan Innovation Party reshape Japan's domestic policy, especially regarding the things that these parties do not agree with?
From the last some elections, recently Japan's public opinion stance is changing from the left to the right. So, right-wing party is representative of the public opinion in Japan. And in this case, traditionally, the ruling party, Liberal Democratic Party, led by Mr. Takaichi, coalition partner of LDP was Komeito. But that Kometo's policy was left. So that's why the view from the public opinion, there is a gap of the opinion. But now this coalition has disrupted, and the new coalition partner is Japan Innovation Party, which is a right-wing party. So that's why the LDP is right, and the Japan Innovation Party is right, and the public opinion is also right. So there is no gap in this case. So that's why view from this is more stable coalition partner for the LDP and backed by the public opinion, I think. And in this case, the number of the seats is also mattered. In case of the Komeito is 10 seats lesser than this Japan Innovation Party. So this means that as a coalition government, LDP got 10 more to cooperate with Japan Innovation Party. So to get the majority, still the 2 seats is needed, but 2 seats is not difficult to get. So that's why, because of this cooperation between the Liberal Democratic Party and the Japan Innovation Party, that coalition government is more stronger than the Liberal Democratic Party and the Komeito Party in the past. So that is relatively better choice has happened, and more stable government current Mr. Takaichi can lead from tomorrow, I think.
Right, and building on that, LDP and Komeito ending their 26-year coalition, that's very long. And how will this shift indicate, does this shift indicate this Japan's ideological alignment changing or Japanese politics changing? Also, how will Komeito survive to stay relevant in Japan going forward?
The difference of the Prime Minister Ishiba and the Prime Minister, she hasn't been, but Mr. Takaichi and Mr. Ishiba's difference is Mr. Takaichi is the successor of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. There is a high possibility that she will continue the policy of the PM Abe. In case of the Mr. Ishiba, because of he was the rival of the Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, he wanted to change the course of the Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. So now Mr. Takaichi will sworn in, and in the past, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe appointed her as a successor of him, and most of the people surround her is the former Abe supporters. So that's why there's a high possibility that Prime Minister Abe will back. Something like that could happen. But in this case, of course, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was creative, and every time he won the elections, so he was a very strong leader. So compared with him, can Takaichi to become similar or the powerful prime minister? That will be the matter of concern. It relies on her capability and her skill.
That's so interesting. Thank you very much, Dr. Satoru Nagao, for joining us and sharing that insight throughout this topic. Now we move on to our next news. The Prime Minister of Cambodia, Hun Manet, has stated that Cambodia and Thailand are set to sign a peace agreement at the ASEAN summit from October 26th to 28th in the presence of the United States to end the border conflict and restore bilateral relations. While addressing the press at the Techno International Airport, Cambodian Prime Minister has stated that the peace agreement would be signed in Malaysia. Earlier on Sunday, Cambodian Army Regions 4 and 5 have informed Thailand's 1st and 2nd Army areas about the upcoming Cambodia-Thailand Regional Border Committee, but it was postponed. Prime Minister Hun Manet himself reiterated that Cambodia would not be ceding territory to Thailand with the signing of the deal. He pointed out that no deal would be signed that results in the loss of territory. However, he thanked U.S. President Donald Trump for his assistance in the talks with Thailand to resolve the impeding issues. Let's now listen in to what the Cambodian Prime Minister has said.
សូមឱកាសនេះក៏អរគុណទៅដល់អាដាមប្រធានាធិបតី Donald Trump ដែលបានព្រួយផ្ដើមនឹងជួយឲ្យមានបទចម្បាញ់ហើយតិចទៀតនឹងអាចឈានទៅដល់ការបញ្ចប់ចុះកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងសន្តិភាពនៅម៉ាឡេស៊ីបើសិនជាគ្មានអីប្រែប្រួលទេនៅថ្ងៃ28កាបូអញ្ចឹងការបញ្ចប់ចំនួនគឺជាគោលដៅថែមហើយនេះហើយដែលយើងទៅថ្ងៃមុខសង្ឃឹមថានៅក្នុងពេលឆាប់ៗនឹងមានកិច្ចចុះព្រមព្រៀងសន្តិភាព
The Prime Minister of Cambodia, Hun Manet, has stated that Cambodia and Thailand are set to sign a peace agreement at the ASEAN summit from October 26 to 28 in the presence of the United States to end the border conflict and restore bilateral relations. While addressing the press at the international airport, Cambodian Prime Minister stated that the peace agreement would be signed in Malaysia. However, earlier on Sunday, Cambodian Army Regions 4 and 5 informed Thailand's 1st and 2nd Army areas about the upcoming Cambodia-Thailand Regional Border Committee, but it was postponed. Prime Minister Hun Manet himself reiterated that Cambodia would not be ceding territory to Thailand with the signing of the deal. He pointed out that no deal would be signed that results in the loss of territory. However, he had thanked U.S. President Donald Trump for his assistance in the talks with Thailand to resolve these impeding issues. Now for this discussion, we go back to Dr. Satoru Nagao. He's a fellow at Hudson Institute, joins us live from Tokyo. Thank you very much, Dr. Satoru, for joining us again. Now, how effective is this upcoming peace deal or peace deal signing for this particular area?
This is because the timing is very good. Because the APEC summit will happen, and in this case, President Trump will visit it. And of course, the APEC includes all of the ASEAN members, including the Thai and the Cambodia. So anyway, they need to join and they need to meet each other. In this case, if their relation was very bad, that is not a good mood in front of the other leaders in the Asia-Pacific countries. And so that's why, anyway, they need to conclude something about this conflict. And in this case, in front of the President Trump, they will sign the agreement. That is, fortunately, coincidentally, this is the timing. So that's why they check it. The problem is, of course, if they will not break the agreement, it will be very good for any regional country in this region. But at the same time, if the problem will occur again, and there's a possibility problem itself related to the territory, it still exists. So that's why it relies on what will happen after that will decide the meaning of this agreement.
Thank you very much, Dr. Satoru Nagao, for joining us and sharing that insight and staying with us throughout our news. Now we move on to Delhi, India. Air pollution levels in New Delhi, India have plunged this week, reducing visibility across the city as residents celebrate Diwali. India's Festival of Lights, Diwali often coincides with increased emissions from crop residue burning in neighborhood states. Last week, India's Supreme Court allowed the use of green crackers during Diwali celebrations, a decision that has sparked concerns among environmentalists, with some calling the move regressive. The Delhi government has also implemented the Graded Response Action Plan, or GRAP Level 2 restrictions to counter the rising air pollution. GRAP is set off emergency measures designed to tackle severe air quality conditions in the city. The Indian capital battles pollution each winter as cold air traps dust emissions and smoke from farm fires in the neighboring states of Punjab and Haryana, with firecrackers exacerbating the problem after Diwali. Air pollution levels in New Delhi, India have plunged this week, reducing visibility across the city as residents celebrate Diwali. Now for this discussion, we welcome Ajit Kumar, MD, joins us live from Kushigram Foundation from Delhi. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to NewsX World. Now, looking at this, it's like almost every year this discussion has to come to the news. So how should governments balance cultural traditions like Diwali celebrations with the urgent need to address public health risks and the polluted air?
I have been advocating and trying to push the government to have for this to manage this and maintain the AQI levels. So every year in winters, in this season, say November, December month of the English calendar or the Gregorian calendar that we call, the AQI always becomes bad to worse and worst. So why don't we have these measures, the GRAP measures that we are starting, say, 2 months or 1 month back as an emergency relief? Why don't we have across the year? We can have at least GRAP 1 across the year. Then people will know how to manage their lifestyle, how to maintain their lifestyles in a sustainable way. Doing something once in a while, 1 month or 2 months a year, doesn't help much, because every time, again, climate change is not a local thing. It is like it is related to the problem or pollutions anywhere across the world. So to maintain that, we should have GRAP 1 almost across the year. That is what I advocate strongly.
And what do you think, what are the political as well as regulatory challenges that are preventing stronger enforcement of, like you've said, GRAP, and also not only in Delhi, but also in neighboring states?
Yes. See, basically, the problem is that every government, every system, every rural wants to have a flexible approach. Flexible approach in the sense that people should be, people should like that approach. So life for people should be easy. Life is definitely easy, but people are not realizing as much, as well as the governments, that the situation is getting worse every time, every month, every year. So we have to understand that people are not able to relate. In fact, people are not made to relate that the problem of health that they are having, the problems of more deaths that are happening, and sickness that is happening in these months especially, is due to this problem. And if they take little bit of restraint and care, their lives would be better. And governments have to make people understand, as well as social and civil society organizations have to make the people understand this.
And Ajit, as you rightly mentioned, that people, including me, we do not understand how serious these polluted air can have on long term, even as well as short term. You know, I wake up with a sore throat these days. So how serious is it? Can you tell us the side effects? Can you tell us the long term effects?
I'll just tell you with an example.
Yes.
I have many people around in our neighborhood who have like good paying capacity. They can have non-chemical food. They can have good water, but they have plastic water. They don't carry bottles. They go in cars, but they don't carry water bottles. So all these are very small measures, but these measures have a larger impact, and adding all the small together becomes a large initiative, and has a large impact. So these are small steps. We spend only, say, 5%, 7% on food, on our habitat. How much we spend? Maybe 5, 10%. But what amount we spend in luxuries like drinking, partying, and other things. So we have to see that, and having changing cars every 2 years, 3 years. So we have to see what kind of lives we want to maintain and live. Do we want to have a healthy and happy life, or do we want to have a luxurious life, but ending in a lot of trauma and diseases and problems?
Yes, indeed. And thank you for sharing that. And Ajit, lastly, going back, how can interstate coordination be improved to reduce this pollution, especially if we're in Delhi? Can this government in Delhi collaborate with neighboring like Noida or Punjab and Haryana?
True. So actually, as I said about a few minutes back, that all these problems are interrelated. So we need to have the AQI measures and the CAQ measures and GRAP measures across the neighboring areas also, because if the AQI level in say Delhi is whatever, like just giving an example, so 90%, 80% would be in the neighboring areas also. So they are also close to the problems. So a sustained integrated measure across the neighboring places is very important, as well as across awareness across the year and some measures across the year. This is very important. The government should do that. The people should come in the front and say and ask the government to do that, and also the civil society organizations.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Ajit Kumar, for joining us as an MD of Kushigram Foundation and sharing that insight. Thank you. Now we move on to our next news. Ahead of the upcoming Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in Gyeongju, South Korean authorities have ramped up security with large-scale drills to ensure the safety of leaders and attendees. The South Korean Coast Guard's Sea Special Attack Team have conducted a security exercise using special task boats and underwater sonar in Bomun Lake, close to the summit venue. The drills are part of comprehensive security measures to prevent terrorism and illegal activities during this event. Led by the Presidential Security Service, police will continue their security exercises throughout the week, including special forces, drones, and detection dogs, all focused on securing the Gyeongju Hwabae Convention Center, the summit's main location. Up to 18,500 police officers will be deployed daily for crowd control, traffic management, as well as general security. In addition to police and Coast Guard efforts, the government has prepared anti-drone equipment, armored vehicles, and helicopters for the summit's opening day. With rallies scheduled to take place during the event, police are also working with civic groups to ensure public demonstrations occur safely and away from the summit venues. Let's listen in to an officer of the South Korean Coast Guard Sea Special Attack Team.
해양경찰은 에이펙 정상회의를 앞두고 경호안전통제단과 함께 경주 보문호수 일대에서 테러 및 각종 불법행위 예방을 위한 집중 순찰과 감시 활동을 강화하고 있습니다. 다양한 상황에 대비해 드론 감시, 수상 순찰, 수중 점검 등 입체적인 예방 활동을 펼치고 있으며 인파가 몰릴 수 있는 지역이나 사각지대를 중심으로 위험 요소가 없는지 면밀히 살펴보고 에이펙 정상회의가 성공적으로 치러질 수 있도록 최선을 다해 임무를 수행하고 있습니다.
Now we stay in the region. Beijing residents have shared their views as China's economic growth has slipped below 5% in the third quarter of 2025. Now, the growth is at the slowest pace in a year in the face of trade headwinds and domestic consumer slump. This comes as China has released data on its economy that shows that in the July-September period, the Chinese economy grew 4.8% from a year earlier. Official data also showed that the increase in inflation-adjusted gross domestic product of the Chinese economy decelerated from 5.2% in the previous quarter to the slowest pace since the 4.6% recorded in the July-September period of last year. Let's listen in to how Chinese residents have reacted.
补贴的话，其实它不是光靠这个买东西的补贴，因为大家不敢消费，就是因为手里没有钱。没有钱，一个就是挣得少，就是包括现在很多公司，其实因为当下的经济形势不好，很多公司是在裁员，或者是这个公司可能也就倒闭那种状态，那可能人过了。 孩子的这个教育费用，政府这2年不也是去给这些，比如说那个给有孩子这种家庭去发放一些补贴吗？但是这个补贴力度其实还是特别低的，相对于养大一个孩子1年的那个费用来说，那个可能就是相当低了。然后年轻人可能就觉得这种特别长期的花费特别多的这种，对于我，
比如过去我们的中国的 GDP 每年是10%、9%、8%，增长率放缓了。但是因为你的基数变得越来越大了，所以你的增长率放低是一个必然的事情。但是整体来说，你的经济仍然是往上走。
Now we stay in the region. Chinese Foreign Ministry has issued a statement over Jakarta Bandung Railway project. It has said that China is ready to work with Indonesia to ensure the continued success of the high-speed railway project in maintaining the safe, unimpeded and orderly operation. The railway has handed over 11.71 million passenger trips, creating jobs and boosting economic growth along the route. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Go Jiakun has stressed the importance of the project in driving Indonesia's economic and social development while enhancing regional connectivity. He has also highlighted that beyond economic indicators, the public benefit and comprehensive returns are crucial in assessing projects like this. Since commencing operation in October 2023, the high-speed railway has reduced travel time between Jakarta and Bandung from over 3 hours to just 46 minutes.
雅万高铁已经正式开通运营2年，2年来，雅万高铁保持安全、畅通、有序运行，累计发送旅客超过1171万人次，客流量仍在持续稳定增长。经济社会效益不断释放，为当地创造大量的就业岗位，有力促进沿线经济发展，受到印尼各界的肯定和欢迎。两国政府高度重视项目发展，双方主管部门和企业保持紧密协作，为高铁安全、稳定运营提供了坚实保障。
And that's a wrap on Primetime Asia. Keep watching NewsX World for more news updates from around the world.